What's a subtle sign that someone is very intelligent? How often they are confident in saying, "I don't know." I like to call it being smart enough to know how stupid you are. They're very good at problem solving. Even if it's something they have no experience with, they always approach the problem from the right angle. I'll add on to this by saying they know when they don't know. And because of that, will take the opportunity to learn so that they do know, rather than continuing to bumblefuck their way through a problem, which sometimes is the right angle to start with by learning what is what first. The know-it-all pretenders will just continue slamming that square peg into a round hole until it fits. Then the next time someone opens a control cabinet, it's a fucking mess of bodges and sometimes even bypass safeties. I'm definitely not a genius, but when I started living on my own, I was shocked at how many people lack even basic problem-solving skills. Google and YouTube are your friends, use them. Understanding for appreciating nuance. I can hold two opposing ideas in my head at the same time. Anyone who is willing to do that is intriguing to me. Especially with polarizing issues. They might actually be interesting to talk to. If you cannot understand and articulate an opposing position, you cannot evaluate its strengths and weaknesses, much less compare them to your own position. When being taught to do something new, they care just as much, if not more, about why it should be done a certain way as they do about what needs to be done. This is why I hate those assholes who get offended at this. I had a teacher in high school get irrationally angry BC I asked why we were doing something a certain way and screamed, "Do not question my authority." How else am I supposed to learn? When someone can admit a mistake and they know they don't know everything, they can adapt their communication style, vocabulary, tone, content, etc. to fit the situation and people they're talking to, and it seems completely natural. This is social aptitude, a very important skill. My freshman college roommate was a mechanical engineer. One of the first nights we were in the dorms, we had pizza delivered. We didn't eat it all, but the pizza box didn't fit inside the dorm fridge. He went all out origami and transformed the box into a smaller, perfectly square box that did fit inside the fridge. In about 12 seconds. I'm pretty good at math, but not necessarily geometry. My mind was blown. I spent 35 years in academia between my student-teacher years, and he's still one of the 3 smartest people I've ever met. His ability to just do it is dumbfounding to me. His retirement project is transforming his father's 1963 Mercedes convertible into a hybrid that has a small diesel engine that runs on vegetable oil along with a total Tesla Model S battery pack. So cool you guys stayed in touch. He's literally the best human I know on this planet, at least since my wife passed 2 years ago. Every time I see him, I hug him tightly and don't want to let go. They are okay with being perceived as stupid by asking questions. If we hold back in fear, we'll never truly learn. Plus, it's a good way to show others it's okay to question things if you don't understand. Better off if we're on the same page instead of hoping things work out without being informed. I consider someone intelligent if they're able to explain something incredibly complicated in simpler and more readily understood terms. When they take the time to filter through any possible misunderstandings in an argument by asking questions to help them better understand the idea that's being presented, instead of immediately assuming their first interpretation of the argument is the correct one. Something that's always bugged me is when my argument gets misunderstood and then attacked from angles where supposed errors exist, when those errors rose out of the listener's own misinterpretation. Honestly, after reading their work, debates, talks, podcasts, discussions, arguing, etc., I noticed they often use conditions in their sentences that's not absolute. There's also this saying, only a fool talks in absolute. Tige use, I think, many times, oftentimes, usually, it's possible, it could be if. So it appears they talk as if I can be wrong, or based on what we know. If you compare sentences, so known unintelligent people, they lack these conditions and voices absolutes only. They ask really good questions and listen more than they talk. Someone who can understand someone's opposing view without having to agree with it or get angry over it. They feel challenged rather than threatened by new things, problems, ideas.